I know I said the last trip to the depot was one of the craziest ones I've ever had, but I think this one tops it. On this day, I was not planning to go rail fanning, but when I woke up that morning, I saw that Norfolk Southern 38, the Brick, had gone through Kendallville. The Geo train normally only comes through super early in the morning and normally only on Wednesdays, so I normally never get the chance to see it because, well, I'm in school, or asleep if it's summer, because I have a terrible sleep schedule. Anyways, on this day, I actually was awake, and the Brick was coming, so I knew that I had to try and catch it. So, as soon as it passed Elkhart, thankfully not stopping, I headed out to the depot, only to find that there was some maintenance work going on, which I would eventually find out severely delayed the arrival of any of the trains I was looking for. Anyways, when we got there, a train was stopped in the siding, an intermodal, and after not too long, it throttled up and rolled by us. I headed down to the other end of the depot to see if I could get some looks at the maintenance equipment. And while I was there, this weird rail laying truck apparatus thing started moving. From what I understand, this truck lays rails and takes out rails that are dysfunctional. I'm pretty sure they were just replacing the rails on the depot at this day, so that's probably why. But yeah, this truck would roll by us several more times. Also nearby was this larger maintenance of way truck, not sure what its specific purpose is, and of course a front loader, which chills the depot a lot of the time, but on this day it was active. And not too long after that, the signal went green or orange-green, because that's the maintenance danger aspect, for another westbound, another intermodal with another C6M duo, but at least I got a horn salute this time. And it was another short wait before the signal turned orange, once again indicating another westbound would be coming soon. However, before it could, we saw the lights of an eastbound slowly coming around the curve. The eastbound in question was Norfolk Southern Local B08, with its typical awesome duo of GP60s. Lovely to see these two standard cabs out on the main line. Only 3 cars on this day, which is about typical for a B08. And as soon as B08 got out of sight, we spotted the front of a Norfolk Southern GE stopped in the siding. We thought for a long time that this was in fact the Geo train with the Brick trailing right behind the Norfolk Southern engine. However, as it throttled up and started to get closer, well, no! We've been waiting here for like an hour for the Geo train. There was this one stopped in the siding. We thought it was, but look, you can see the top bit of the auto rack going over the engine. So yeah, this is just an Elkhart originating manifest. I was disappointed after that, and was even more disappointed as the next train showed up, clearly being a BNSF engine. Wait a minute. I thought as this train was approaching that it was a Elkhart originating manifest with BNSF power. However, as it got closer and closer, I started to notice the wet noodle on the front. As it got even closer, I noticed the distinctive teardrop windshield of an EMD whisper cab. It was then I realized that the leader on this train was one of CN's freshly rebuilt SD70 IACCs, which are literally one of my favorite locomotive types of all time. Absolutely beautiful. But as it got closer and closer, I slowly started to realize that this was only the second coolest engine on this train, because right behind it was GECX 2037, one of the former General Electric Tier 4 GEVO demonstrators that CN purchased in 2016. There are four of these engines left. And with how rare CN is on the depot line and how rare these engines are even on CN, this is an incredible catch, even rarer than the brick, in fact. Unbelievable. Wow, I am still in a state of shock from that. Wow. And the excitement did not stop there, because literally a minute after that train went underneath the signal, it changed to orange for another westbound, which stopped in the siding and eventually throttled up and started going by like all the previous trains had been doing. And as you can probably tell from this train's incredibly short length, it was in fact Norfolk Southern's geometry and maintenance of way testing and research train, with Norfolk Southern 38 the brick and Norfolk Southern 36 a research coach, trailing behind the regular C6M, providing the power for the entire train. Absolutely amazing. Norfolk Southern is phasing out these geo trains with geo equipment just fitted on the bottom of regular C6Ms, so if you ever have the chance to see one of Norfolk Southern's two geo trains, either the brick or the dented brick, number 34, take it. You have no idea how much longer these will be around before Norfolk Southern deletes them to save money, because it's Norfolk Southern. What else would they do? So now, if you're anything like me and are extremely confused, allow me to explain what the heck that thing is. The brick started out life in 1971 as Norfolk and Western High Hood SD40 number 1620. It served with Norfolk and Western, mostly assigned to the former Wabash routes in Indiana, until it was absorbed into Norfolk Southern in 1982, where it continued to serve for a few years in its N&W paint scheme, before eventually being repainted into Norfolk Southern, although retaining its Norfolk and Western reporting marks, and continuing to serve on NS until around 2008-ish. Funnily enough, I actually managed to find a picture of it hauling a geometry train. A little bit of a prelude of what's to come, huh? In 2009, Norfolk Southern was starting their geometry train program, and they decided to just borrow the chassis and frame and trucks of number 1620, as it was retired and was going to be scrapped anyway. So they built a brand new body for it, which was the brick, complete with a cab and all the geo equipment, and then slapped it onto the trucks of Norfolk Southern 1620. That's why you can see it wears EMD trucks. It also retains the fuel tank and a couple of the other underside fittings from Norfolk Southern 1620. And the unit has served as the brick since 2009, Funnily enough, I actually managed to find this image of it before it was even placed on a 1620's chassis. So this is just the brick body sitting on temporary trucks in Altoona shops. Pretty funny. But nowadays, the brick is used almost exclusively for the geometry train, which makes sense. I mean, it can't really do anything else in its current state. It's basically a slug that steals power from the main engine to power its geo equipment, which is designed to image the track and make sure that nothing is going wrong. Very interesting, and I'm glad I managed to see it, considering how unique of a unit this is. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video and the little history section I sprinkled in at the end. Catch those units while you can, especially the bricks, and I will see you in the next video.